Ma, how much do you keep reading here? Look
Arey?
at this, my new top.
Ah, pretty you're looking.
है ना? I love you,
मेरा
Ma.
बच्चा.
As many times I look at her, it feels like I have betrayed her. All her life she taught me to be strong and do the right thing. And all I did was give in to the moment of despair and break her like this. I wish I had cried that night and let it all out. I wish I had spoken to Mom or Dad. They would as always have hugged me and told me that it would all be good again.
अनन्या, और कितना वक्त लोगी? जल्दी करो.
Hi, Ma.
I wish I had given them a chance. I wish I had given myself a chance instead of pushing my parents who loved me into a pit of agony, making their life a living hell. That night, I killed 2 more people along with me. I wish I had not.
I hope you have really digested that video because honestly, it's quite a hard wrecking video to watch the actual pains that family, the remaining relatives would have suffered, the pains in someone who commits suicide. So if you're thinking about committing suicide at this moment, think about those who are left behind you. And I think that's very important at this very particular time. So I want you to take a time off of your life, of course, and think where you're going in this moment, and if you really believe that suicide is the answer to your problem. Before we move on our program, let me again say special thanks to our sponsors. We also have always joining us is Leko by Leko and family, by Ganesh Sharif and family, the Gayatri and family, Ramadar and family, the Lotto shop in Cumberland, that's Satar Lotto shop, and Suresh Washbe. We want to thank all of our sponsors who would have seen it very much fit to be a part of this very important program here today. We were going to open the telephone lines, of course, to give you a chance to interact with us. But before I go further, let me let you know that tonight is a launching. The next activity on suicide would be, of course, is to intensify the I Love Life challenge on our Facebook. That will be running for about 3 months. With that also running, we will be bumper stickers. We will be giving out stickers to cars send the same message. We will be having more programs. We're hoping to go to the schools across and especially do some work in the Blackbush area. We will be collaborating with the Caribbean Voice because we already spoke to them and they're willing to come on board as we work together, and we'll be having lots of training for our people also on this issue so they can speak out more on it and you can play your part. Remember, we're not just excluding you in this here, but you have an integral role to play. Talk to someone, help someone. I think that's where it starts. But go on our Facebook page and start bringing some sort of awareness. And I think it's a blessed platform we can use at this moment, given the fact that lots of young people, they have Facebook accounts, and I'm urging you to use it for something positive. And guess what? The person with the most like for their vote for a particular week, that video will actually be seen on television once we have our sponsors, of course, coming on board. So we'll be taking some calls. I don't know if we have generous persons. If you, whatever thoughts you would like to share on this issue of suicide, if you would like to make pledge of support for the cause, anything else, of course, we will be entertaining them. Let's take this call here. Hello. Hello. Hello, good evening. You're on to our program, Suicide Stopper.
Sitaram Banerjee.
Jai Sitaram.
How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing very alright.
You're doing a wonderful program there.
Thank you very much.
Continue.
Thank you.
Actually, it's a very soaring issue all over the country right now, probably in the world, right? What I feel so far is that people are very far away from God. That's
Far
one.
away from God. I agree with you.
Two, people don't really understand the value and meaning of life. What is the purpose of life? Why we are born on this earth? That they even don't want to try to understand that. No? I think people need to get more to the scripture and understand
I agree
God
with you.
and understand their life more. And I heard you mention a part about religion. I will give a little story with one of my own cousin.
Sure.
With this religion story, it's also one of the issues leading people to suicide. One of my brother daughter get married to a boy of another denomination, right?
Yes.
And after the marriage, they lived together for approximately 4.5 years. And since they get married, from that day onward, the girl was not allowed because of religion purpose to go to her mother's residence whenever they have religious pujas and you know, right? And it come to a point when the girl, little sister, was getting married, and she wanted to go, and because of religion, she was not allowed to go, right?
Yes.
And the girl ended up committing suicide.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Think,
Thanks. Yeah.
I think many of those Christian people who are advocating these things need to stop that a little bit.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
We want to thanks very much for
You're
your
welcome.
contribution. Thank you. You see, we don't want, of course, the name and religion or so, but to put it very broadly, that we should not use religion, of course, to justify any of our actions, of course, to commit suicide, because every religion, based on our little research, would have actually condemned the act of suicide, and there is serious repercussion that would follow for persons who would have committed suicide. Let's take our next caller.
Hello, you're on to our program.
Hello, you on to our
Hello?
program? Yes.
I've been looking at this program here,
Yes.
and first of all, I must commend you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I saw you show clips of a situation probably has happened in India,
Yes. That's so good.
but India's situation might be different from Guyana,
Mm.
and they are.
Yes.
First of all, we need to identify or to look at some of the problems that contributed to suicide in Guyana.
Maybe you can help us.
You know, well, before you deal with the problem, you got to know the answer. You got to know the problem.
Yes.
Good. And there are numerous issues that are contributed to suicide.
Maybe you can help us add to the list, because we've identified a few of them, of course.
am
That
for
video
you.
would have quite applied to, this is very much something that happens in Guyana. This is what we were trying to show in that last video there. It's not highlighting the situation, but it's to highlight the pains. And I'm sure that those pains that you would have seen there, the mother and the father, this is exactly what happens after someone would have committed suicide. Isn't that so?
Yeah, but with due respect, suicide sometimes don't happen between parents. There are other contributing factors.
Yes, I agree with
Economic
you.
One of
But
them.
it's,
That's one
do
of
you
them.
agree with me that sometimes, because of disputes in families and our inability to resolve problems stemming within the family, it leads to suicide also?
Yes, you're correct.
Thank you. Good.
But the issue here is that now is the only factor.
No,
I
That's one
agree
of
with
them.
you.
That's
I agree
one
with
of
you.
them.
That's only just one of them. So,
Yeah, but there are the social, economic, unemployment.
of course,
stress,
lots of it. Yes,
political.
stress.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There are people who, I mean, single parents.
Yes.
You know what I mean.
But there isn't anything, I would tell you this here. Thank you very much for your contribution. We'll take another one. But to add to him what he's saying, regardless of what your situation, he would have answered, he would have said there that maybe a single parent going through a rough time. But you know what? Sometimes we love to complain so much, oh, we're not getting this. But it's sometimes it takes, all it needs is this little bit of encouragement probably to go stand up and do things.
Also-
And you complain of, okay, you had something to add?
Also, you know, it'd be better if family
Let me say
communicate with
something.
each other. You always have to communicate with each other and show our, feelings for each other and help each other all the way through. Because nowadays in family life, no one's communicating with each other. They're on the phone, texting somebody else, or if not, they'll be going somewhere with other friends, and they don't pay attention, especially to the ones closer to them. That's the family.
I like that point that you brought up there, and there was a wonderful study that was done the other day that, one of the things that's missing in our family is quality time. We're not spending quality time together. I don't know if any one of you want to stress on that, but I know for sure that, especially, I don't want to use technology as something that, in a negative sense, but sometimes when you look at how families have changed, long ago they used to sit around the dinner table and they would have this wonderful conversation. It's often very good to deal with any perhaps any perceived issue and so forth within the family. But these days, and I've been getting lots of complaint that today families all we sit at a dinner table and yet someone is busy texting away, and the kind of quality time is no longer there, and that is some of the issues. So we have to change our lifestyle and change it for the better, and don't use any situation to justify an action for suicide. Like the caller would have said that there are various reasons, forces impacting or influence in persons, whether it be economic. And maybe I can probably shed this here. I mean, how many success stories haven't you heard out there? Lots of inspirational stories that you would have heard, inspiring stories where people would have had a struggle in life, but at the end, eventually, they lived through it. Look at our grandparents and parents and so forth. I don't know if anyone.
Yes, but look, people see to complain these days, but they don't look for a solution. I mean, many people complain, well, this is hard and I can't do that and I will not do that. But then if you look for a solution, you can do it. Look at it, you can do it. So why choose suicide?
Yeah, we need to realize that our problems are temporary. Suicide would be permanent.
Yes.
Then you need to think about, like we said, who you're leaving behind and all the other things that would happen when you're not here anymore. You could always live through your problems. They're not going to be there forever. But if you take your life, then there are persons there that want you to be alive.
Let's
Think
look
about
at
that.
typical situation, and I'm just being very much trying to blend in what we have happen in society. A girl loves a boy or a boy loves a girl, whichever way you want to put it, and they're underage.
That's common.
And that's very common. Do we agree with that? What could possibly be options? What option you think can probably happen? Well, number one, of course, maybe the others can gonna add, but it's both parties should meet and understand that, firstly, you're underage, not you're underage for certain activities. That's one. And then what is your priority? Re-look at your priorities in life at this moment. I don't know
What
if
you need to do at that age.
Majority of the time, young people run into relationship at a very tender age, and they don't necessarily look at the basic things. Like you spoke about your priorities. Is our relationship in this point in time a right decision for you? Or should you be focusing on the bigger picture of life? You should, a teenager at the age of 15 to 16, 17, or even 13 should not engage themselves in a relationship, because you need to look at the bigger picture in life. And when you do face problems, then this is where suicide usually comes in. And when you can't cope with the problem, then is when you turn to the suicide act and so forth. So,
hello, good evening. You're onto our program.
Good evening, Prodigy Rama.
Jai Sitaram.
Hello?
Yes, you're on time. Jai Sitaram.
Yeah, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing all right.
All right, I'm very happy to see you young people there doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
I think as a leader by myself, I've always advocated for religious organizations to get involved in the attempt to stem suicide. And I'm happy that you're taking the lead.
Thank
I want to
you.
wish you and your team the best wishes.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, keep up your good work.
Thank you
And
very
I hope
much.
the other religious bodies follow suit.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming through. Thank you. And I am sure that, going back to the high school situation, and that a person going to high school, they got so many options because they got friends there they can talk to. They got teachers, I'm sure, who are willing to. You're a teacher. How would you deal with a case like that if you got someone who probably entertains the thought of committing suicide? What would be your actions?
Well, first of all, you need to befriend the student, because if you're just going to be their teacher for teacher's sake, then you're not going to get anything out of them. So for me, I would sit with them, talk them through, let them trust me, because your teacher should be trustworthy. Let them open up to you, and you would find ways and means in which you could counsel them, talk to them, show them the right way through. Maybe they're in a situation somebody went through, or maybe you went through it yourself, and you would show them how you chose to get through it, and they should choose the same way. Show them that ended their life wouldn't end the problem. It would always be there. If not for you, maybe for someone else.
We have some beautiful pictures, of course, and while we are of course speaking, I'm sure the operators would arrange for them. These are actually pictures which people would have gone to our Facebook website and they would have shared with us. So we want to share them with you at the same time we're taking your calls. And this is a nice one. I love life. Remember, it's hashtag I love life. Let's take the callers. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hi, you're on to Suicide Stopper.
Yeah, it's good to see such a program,
Thank you.
and it's nice to know that there are young people out there trying to stop the suicide rate that is growing.
Thank you.
And I think one thing that you guys can also do is that because of suicide rate being the end, what some people try to do is because they don't have the avenues of trying to discuss their problems. They don't have it at home. They don't have it at school. So it's good that if we can probably set up something.
I agree with you. I agree with you very much, caller, for the simple reason. And you know what? We are willing for the challenge and we're willing to work with people because handling the issue of suicide is everyone's business. And as an organization, our biggest challenge, of course, because it's a very ambitious campaign, we have the ideas are there, but of course, one of the challenge would have been the funding and support from